the name of this discussion is how to get more women in tech and retain them. And to the stage, I warmly welcome three participants of the discussion and, of course, the moderator, Elina Lidere.
Hello, everyone. Great to see you here on exhibition and also in online. Greetings to you as well. Now I'm welcome discussion participants. First of all, Lene Adholde from Accenture. She's People Experience and Leadership Development Lead, Accenture.
Hello.
Then Adriana Kauliņa from TED, IT company, Chief Sustainability Officer. Hello, Adriana.
Hi, hello.
And Arta Bashina from finance startup Nordigen. She is head of operations. Hello, Arta.
Hi.
Please. Oh, we have this hard question here today for discussion, how to attract more women in tech and retain them also to work there. As you know, I don't know, maybe I can ask question here in auditory. Who are the women working in tech? Maybe you can raise a hand. It's at least few, but still, yes, room for new one to join in tech. And overall, it is like less than 1/4 of employees in ICT sector actually are women. And that is actually, we as a Riga Tech Gal work a lot to educate and inspire more women to join in tech, but still as ICT sector is growing very fast, is actually the numbers are more or less the same for years. Yes, I would like, as a first question, to ask maybe to comment how you see why the situation is like that. And as the first one, maybe Lene, you could start, as I know that Accenture is actually one of the forerunners in joining more and more women in tech sector.
Okay, hello once again. Why? The question is why?
Yes, why the situation is like that?
Okay, well, I think this partly comes from historically from the society we lived and the way we were educated, our parents were educated, and it starts from family. And some years ago, when my daughter, it was the last day in kindergarten, and we had a question to all the children. So, what are you going to do in the future? And I remember that, and this is nice, definitely, of course, that quite many girls said that they want to dance and they want to be do some other works related to the good well-being and good looking and so. And then there was only one girl who said that she wanted to be a soldier, and at that time it was like a post. And this comes from the family, this comes together with stereotypes, with education. But what I see, we are in this journey, we are moving forward, and it doesn't mean that all girls have to study IT. It means that girls should have possibility to choose, and they can choose if they learn, including math at school, and then they can decide, do they want to be a doctor or veterinary doctor or study IT. We just have to ensure that girls have this possibility to choose.
Yes, great. Choice is great. I think there are still quite, education system and companies are, I think, welcome for women in tech as well, but still the divide between women and male are really like big one. Maybe also Ted has something to say on that, as it's really, I know that a lot of girls who participated in Riga Tech Girls, those training courses, you have also reached them out and have now as employees in TED.
Yes, totally. We are actively hunting for graduates of the programs like Riga Tech Girls or Codalex. For the reason why still women are so few in the industry, I would say it's two things. One, of course, is education, and the candidates in the pipeline are not, the number is not sufficient. And even if today we look in the classes who are taking the programming courses, male dominate. But then it's also about the stereotypes where industry is not really telling enough that the job roles in the tech industry are so different. And perhaps too many have this picture of a programmer as a, lonely wolf sitting somewhere in the corner at the computer in complete solitude, maybe to the extent, emotionally distant from everyone and just looking in the screen and doing things that only he understands. The way companies work these days is totally different from that perception. All the, this Scrum approach to the programming, which is teamwork, where it's a lot of interaction, a lot of communication, a lot of different roles, abilities to change roles and stuff. So if women would know that, they would see the area way more suited for them.
Yes, great. And then, yes, from a finance sector, Nordigan, I think the finance companies are now like IT companies for sure as well. How you see, Artem?
Just to clarify, our finance company is definitely an IT company. We are a tech startup in and out, not a bank, nothing money related. But I don't think I'll add anything new to this per se. It's been mentioned many times before and today as well. My primary two reasons are stereotypes. They're twofold. For people who've been around, who've been in Latvia for a long time, so the older generations, not Gen Z and millennials perhaps, but they don't believe that, they don't see women in tech per se, so that's a stereotype place, and then they create a vicious cycle when speaking with their daughters and their friends. They see that my friends are not in IT, I'm not in IT, why would you go in IT? So that just creates this continuous cycle of kids not understanding that anyone can be IT. And I do believe it will get better. We just have to get out of this loop, and that's why we have organizations such as Riga Tech Girls that are improving this cycle. However, these stereotypes are so deeply ingrained into our psyches, even from ground up. What toys do you give to your daughters? Do you give them dolls, or do you give them construction sets? Do you allow them to play with computers, not just games per se, but actually creating these things? So a lot of times you don't think about marketing that goes into creating these toys. So I believe that's the overall stereotypes, the environment that surrounds us, that affects these decisions a lot. And I do truly believe we'll get better. However, at this current stage, it's a slow progress. That's why we're still here having these conversations today, and hoping to create, let the wheels spin a bit faster than they are currently.
Yes, great, let it spin. Then we all are here from an industry side, which actually are companies in need for IT specialists. Maybe, yes, from your point of view, what you see, what companies can do to attract more women and really to break those stereotypes as well. Maybe let's start with Ted, with Adrian. You.
First of all, I would say that TED is perhaps in a better position here because we have a variety of job roles. Since we are not really like the pure IT company, and it's IT and telco, so it's very many roles. And luckily, we are maintaining over 40% of women in our company. But then what a company can do in addition to have this many opportunities to choose a role, I think it's different way of internal growth. First, of course, it's vertical growth, and we will get to that, how important it is to have women in managerial level. And then it's, of course, horizontal growth, where you can rotate from a role to a role. But also this internal growth is that the whole base is raising, because, for example, in the TED company, technology literacy is one of the key competences where company provides education, and irrespective of your role, are you in accounting or in PR or in programming, there are opportunities for you to learn about different technologies and perhaps find your way there.
Thanks. Liane, I know you work really for years with that one topic. Maybe you can share some experience and tips and tricks.
Tips and tricks. I would say that this all starts with the leadership, with the belief that this is the right decision, with being honest, that there should be also changes in the culture and in the company and in the structure and in the way how do we support our new joiners. It is also again about this education and accepting that we educate, we go and share this message, but it could be so that we do not hire, I don't know, 100 or 200 new joiners in the first year. It's also a cooperation with experts, again in education, with IT experts. And then the process, how we educate and how do we hire, how do we onboard. And again, then we have to accept reality that if it's a reskilling, then it's basically a change management of the life of this new talent we are looking for. And that means that also we have to support and to be honest and say that, hey, please think about the support system you have at home, in your family. Do you have plan B or even C? If you have children, then who will help you with them, and who will help you, I don't know, to make a dinner at home, for example, because it is change in your life. And also accept that we are all in different life phases, and even if I do not have children yet, then after some time, companies should, okay, so it might be that our talents are going on maternity or paternity leave. So be realistic, listen to people who join, measure, educate internally, leadership, educate mentors. It depends on the company. We have people leads. So talk and be again honest, and this should be part of the culture of the company.
Thanks. I liked the point about the leadership. As we have spoke with the experts in Riga Tech Girls, that is one crucial thing also from a management point to really stand up on those questions. How do you see that?
Well, I agree. So because we started this journey some years ago, and I remember that we had tremendous move forward when we had this leadership support, and not because of KPIs, because they really believed in this. Yeah, and then with the support, with leadership, we can look for different ways how to solve. We can be flexible. We can look for some innovations in this, but we really need, because it is important.
Yes, I think Artem, from a startup world, maybe you have some also experience on that.
Yeah, not from the startup world per se. I am part of a youth organization, Global Shapers Riga, And one of the issues we encounter when developing different projects is that you capture the people who are already interested in the subject. For example, when we reach schools with youth leadership programs, so the kids who apply to youth leadership are generally the ones who are leaders already, so they are interested in such subject. It rarely captures the rest of the very crucial part of the population. And whilst I truly agree with what the ladies mentioned here already, there are a couple other parts that I do believe we should be doing. Starting, again, twofold. So the first one is going into less educated parts of society, or at least the parts who misunderstand what tech means. And when I mean that, when I talk about youth especially, I mean from the ground up. So going to kindergartens and early days of school, first classes, before people make the crucial decision not to go into tech. So explain, again, that it's not sitting in a dark corner and not talking with anyone day on days, but actually the tech industry is very, very broad, it's very interesting, it's very creative, explaining different parts of it, so talking with kids. And I'm actually in a very, somewhat privileged position seeing different sides of this issue. So I have a younger sister who is not considering tech because she didn't understand it. Now we are speaking about it finally. And I have a mom who doesn't speak in English and she doesn't understand tech and she hasn't worked for a long time. And she's like, oh, no one will want me in tech. Who needs me there? I'm like, Mom, like we are lacking so many people. Like we need you, we need everyone. You're super smart. You're amazing at math. She used to be a maths teacher. So clearly there is some pattern that she should be good at IT as well. Her main problem is she doesn't speak in English and she also doesn't understand what tech truly entails. So yeah, I think what we mentioned before, it could be combined with speaking, somehow reaching through to these communities, bringing leadership, women in leadership or other people in leadership, getting them to these societies that are generally not touched upon. And yeah, I'm not entirely sure how to crack that, but I don't believe that's been done enough as of yet.
Art, have you also changed something in work environment, specifically just to attract more and retain more women in tech sector to work?
Well, honestly, no, because I believe from the initial stages of Nordic, we've been very fortunate to have many women in leadership positions. To be fair, we have 3 C-level executives. None of them are women. They're 3 male. However, when it comes to heads level, it's about half and half. So only 1 woman in tech per se, like in developer, but our C-level executives have been very conscious to have a mix of women and male from beginning. Because if you don't think about it from initial stages, it's very, very hard to change that later on as well. It has to be a conscious effort to do that. I know a startup company which had 20 people, all the male, and they couldn't hire a single woman because women are like, I don't want to work there. It's like it's a sausage party, if I must say so. So yeah, people didn't want to join a company. So the co-founders of my company, from day one, they wanted to have women, different opinions represented, and build environment around that. So now we're 100 people. I think gender-wise we are about 60-40, so we still have a lot more developers coming in who are male, but I don't think that is our issue. Not my recruitment team is female. They give plus points to the female. It's more of the pipeline. That's what's faulty at this point, and the other items that we mentioned already.
Oh, thanks. That was a great story. Yes. Adrian, maybe
yes. If we are looking for a cure when it comes to the company policies, actually what's been very appreciated in TED, it's and especially from women's side, but not just only from women's side, it's this flexible working mode. Where in TED, actually most employees are working from home, or we even have a policy where for 3 months you can work from abroad, and you can live in a region and work for TED. And actually that is a serious trigger because, well, still women have this caretaker role and they are very conscious about being flexible to manage these different life roles. And then there are certain employees who want to travel more, and then they use this opportunity to work from abroad, and not even mention the ability to work in a smaller cities. I mean, work from home, living in a smaller city. And all the women that I have interviewed before coming to this discussion mentioned this as number one, the flexibility of their working pattern.
Yeah, it was interesting actually to read the Providus research, which showed that there is a stereotype that actually ICT sector is not so elastic with work hours and working places. So that is maybe also something to change actually. Yes, Liene, maybe also I want to get out more tips and tricks from you as well. From a company policies and culture, work culture, what maybe you in Accenture have done differently just to feel more women more welcome maybe, or?
So first of all, we measure, we have KPIs. And I know that there are people who asked, so what do you need to measure this? And this was said by our CEO, Julie Sweet, that if we want to, if it's business critical for us and if it's important for us, then we have to measure. And so therefore we have this target 50-50. And of course, for some people, this target, they drives them crazy, but at the same time it really helps to understand where are we. And then it basically starts from recruiting, and what we did 5-6 years ago, we started from our job ads, and it is clear that there are differences, and this comes from psychology, anthropology, that what we should say or how do we talk with women, and what benefits are more attractive for them. And if we say that, hey, we are drinking beer like every Friday, and there are women who drink beer, but then there are who are interested more in some other things. So we have to be flexible. We have to think about wording, and also about the stereotype about the developer who is sitting in the dark room and coding something. So is it interesting? But if we are able to show what does it mean for someone, that probably this developer is developing a system for hospital, and because of this effective system, this hospital is saving life of 1, 2, 3 people per day, for example. I hope more. But then this is also something we can show, because this is based on psychology, that the way women look on this job or tasks or responsibilities, they are looking for this social benefit. So we cooperated with psychologists and anthropologists, and so we worked together. And then again, this onboarding and learning system, and the promoting, and have really like a fair process for promoting people to the next level, and of course policies. And there are also policies in place which support this environment, safe environment, psychological safe environment, so that people can feel and they can bring themselves at work as they are.
Yeah.
Sorry, can I just mention something? Because I believe you mentioned the policies and things, and I was talking about a deal flow coming in terms of people, and something that I noticed is very, very useful, and the psychological element that women look at job ads and they feel like they need to comply 100%. I have friends now looking for new jobs. I send them a couple different, because I work in recruitment as well, I send them a couple different job posts, and they're like, nah, I don't comply with at least 5 points. I'm like, screw that, just apply, like no one cares. I look at so many different male applications, they don't fit at least 5 more points, but women, they're so they're so careful about trying to be perfect all the time. So when you write your job posts, you can do some like minimum requirements, is something you really, really nice, and cookie points, or some like nice to have elements. So that gives encouragement. There are, I believe all of us use ATSs, so applicant tracking systems. So it's a software that helps you automate and speed up recruitment. And there are anonymous ways how to look at job applications. However, the most problems that, at least in startup world, because we don't discriminate, well, I hope not, that my talent team doesn't discriminate against male or women, but the problem is ageism, which is another one. So when we get older women, especially applying to different roles, there is straight away some sort of a click. You think they will not be up to our startup jargon, they'll have different lifestyle, they will not want to have beer on Fridays, because we do have beer on Fridays. So that's something that is our problem, especially for women age, because you think old developer, yeah, that's like male developer, that's fine. Whereas older women, no, it doesn't matter what tech role, you're a bit more conscious. And to be fair, I've had interviews, especially for when I was recruiting recruiters, I was asking, so what ATS do you use? What automation? What do you think about AI in recruitment? And a lot of them have been using only Excel, and I'm like, yeah, like what I need in the moment, I have a small team, I have 2 recruiters, I can't afford to take a step back at this point. In a big company, I feel it might be different, because you have so many people, so many learning and development programs, whereas we are very conscious of our time and resource that we have. So yeah, I wish we could be a bit more flexible in terms of that.
Adrian, from a big company view, maybe you can comment on HR policies as well.
Yeah, I was mentioning this flexibility, but what colleagues just said is well, actually it triggered 2 more things. One is this unconscious bias that you mentioned during the recruiting. And actually, what we want to do is have a proper education, a training on learning more about this unconscious bias, because this is a very difficult thing to overcome, because it's unconscious, and to remove your decisions. Kind of to decouple your decisions from your stereotypes of what roles can certain persons do, and that's a training. But then another thing that I heard the other colleagues saying is this in internal culture, and I think this is a very big deal here, because one thing is really to get women into the company, and then is really to retain them. And then it's a little bit of a circular reference here, because you need to kind of reach critical mass to introduce the qualities in internal culture which are important for women, but then again, with a disclaimer, not just for women, because the ultimate goal here is an inclusive work culture, and women are very different and men are very different, and at the end of the day, the values that you bring into the corporate culture are important for all of them, and these are basically more of a support, more of a compassion, more of respect in mutual relationship, and also more of a business ethics. And this is what women expect in the job relationship, and it's also what women bring more into the company culture. So it's kind of the circular reference that the company can try to embed.
Mm-hmm. I know actually the story from one of startup in Latvia about the internal culture. To attract more women to work in their company, they started with jokes, actually. And it's also part of unconscious bias because, of course, those people working there before they thought that that is a great way, but they saw the founders of the startup that that is a problem for women, for a lot of women which try to work there. And yes, maybe we can continue actually on this unconscious bias. I like that you mentioned a training. I know that in some of the companies there is also some tradition to do that. And how you see, does it work and is it important also? Liana, maybe you can add.
Yeah, trainings work, definitely. Sometimes, yeah, we are tired of those trainings, but we really pay attention to this part, including that we have also trainings about jokes, so what jokes are not okay and what are okay, because it's true. And inclusion and diversity. Finally, nowadays, we do not focus only on some groups. Of course, it's true, based on research, still some groups in our society need more support. At the same time, this inclusion is actually, everyone should feel included, and this is new vibe of inclusion. And I'm looking forward, and I really hope that we will, in the future, we will talk about our company people, talents, and their strengths, and we will not focus on one of those groups, definitely. But to be there, we need those trainings, and we have to. What we also do, for we have onboarding, of course, and this culture piece is really part of the onboarding, and we are open about what is okay and what is not okay, and of course it's again, yeah, for some it's easy to accept, and for some this is learning, but yeah, so. Just again, like, and then invite people to create this environment together, because I mentioned leadership, yes, at the same time to show to your colleagues and say, hey, it's our task together to support each other. And it's not so that we always need huge projects, I don't know, on 10 PowerPoint slides about how can we improve, and we just have to walk our talk all together, and invite people to create this culture, show them through their experience, and basically then it will happen.
Yes, great. About trainings, I have heard also that sometimes it is a problem that you organize those trainings and there are coming people who already know and are familiar with all those issues and questions. But I like that you are doing that on every onboarding, as I understood.
Yeah, about the culture in every onboarding. And yeah, for some it will be okay, I know it. And for some, this will be something new, because again, this diversity, we come from different, with different experience, different cultures, and like, then we have to have it. This is okay if people know, that's fine. It's good.
I remember you mentioned it also, mentors. You have mentors just for what they are doing.
So Accenture for many years, I know Accenture I think more than 15 years, but this is globally, we do not have mentors. We have mentors, but our basic is people lead. All people, everyone should have a people lead, and this people lead is partly coach, partly advisor, partly mentor, and this is important. This is someone I can trust, and this is based on research is that we all need a friend at work. Doesn't mean that this is my only friend at work, but I can have friends outside the work, but someone I can trust. And again, this is part of our culture, and everyone should have this people lead. But when it's needed, we have mentors. For example, for if it's also related to reskilling, then there can be mentors, or mentors can be if someone changed the role, or some business group. Yeah, this is a lot. But basically, we have this people lead, and people lead is forever. You can change, like after some time. Okay, so I would need someone else. But when someone joins Accenture, till the last day in Accenture, we have this support.
Sounds great. Yes. Speaking about the mentorship, also we in Riga Tech Girls started also male championship initiative, because they thought that it's not enough strong if just women are speaking about the women in tech, and we attracted quite a lot also male champions who are of course also very interested to talk about those questions, because they see that there are opportunities for women, and maybe some of you can comment on that as well. Arta, you mentioned it also, the founders of Nordigen, that I see them also as a great male champions.
I'm pretty sure Roberts and Rollins are invited on the stage before me, so they are definitely advocates of female mentorship. And Ernest Jenau from Edurio, of course, also works and speaks and works with the Riga Tech Girls and speaks on these stages. To be fair, within our company, within Nordigen, women are still better advocates of women, especially when we look at team leads. Our head of data, our head of business development, and my team, we're very honest with our people. We say that you're young. Most of our employees are, I think our average age is 25, so we are very young. And I know that they will not be within my company forever. Generally, probably 2 to 3 years. That's the startup life cycle. And we try to be very, very honest about with our people. If my people interview with someone else, another company, they tell me, and then we discuss these interviews. I actively tell them to look both within their existing roles and their future roles, so they can have a positive next step. So we encourage, learning and development in general. We have a learning and development budget. So that's my team and a couple other women I mentioned. However, we have hired now a training and development person. So he's a male, he's a guy, and he is working actively with each of the team leads to make sure that it's not just 3 girls within a company, but every single one of the team leads who encourages that. And I wouldn't say it's a smooth ride. So they are. No one is against the women advocacy per se. They're just like, I have my job to do, I don't have time to do about it. So it's more of a making time for everyone to actually make these steps and think about it consciously. Yeah.
Adriana, from TED, we also have a few mentors in our Riga Tech Girl mentorship.
True, yes. And also internally, we have this practice of mentorship more when it comes to a technical knowledge, someone you can go to and ask about things you don't understand. But speaking of policies and actually the jokes that you said, these harassing jokes, actually there is another tool that can be used. Of course, we would kind of expect the general maturity of society growing, and everyone would understand how inappropriate such jokes are. But I understand that different companies may have different dominating cultures, but then there is this thing, that's the code of conduct. And sometimes it's very okay also to define that this is the language that we are using in the company, and this is an unwelcome behavior that we will not really tolerate in order for everyone to feel good in this company. So sometimes, if needed be, you can use tools like that as well.
There was also mention that the ageism, and it's not really on that one concerns. It's when I studied in University at Buffalo, I researched that topic as well a lot, and it was in a lot of international companies use tool actually to train women from other sectors to join in ICT. How do you see that, and do you use that too, and is it working? Yes, Leanne, start with
We
you.
do not have a tool. We have a program, and we have women from other sectors. But as I mentioned, of course, it doesn't happen during a one day, and this reskilling, it requests some mindful changes in the life, and there is responsibility from both sides, at least from two sides, from the company who is inviting, hey, we are here to support you and we will help you to reskill, and the other side, the person who wish to reskill, is it male or female, basically it doesn't matter. So to understand and then to accept that yeah, it cannot happen in one day. But we have a program and we have approach. We are working on it to find a better and better way. We are cooperating with experts. And definitely we see this as a possibility to also to give a chance to women who are in some area already for some time and they want to change something. And yeah, if they do not know English, then we can support. If they need something more, then we can support. But there should be this also like readiness to deep dive and then to accept that there can be challenges and it can take some time.
Well, we are taking a little bit different approach. We are cooperating with external programs, and we have many alumni from Codalex program and also from Riga Tech Girls. And we find really good quality and alumni that we can work further with.
I shall also add then, so we have two roles that are very specific for entry-level positions, data operator and junior developer. Junior developers we also take from Codalex and a little bit from Riga Coding School, but generally Codalex brings them up to the level that is needed for our junior developers, and that's literally a couple of months. Anyone can do that. Brilliant program, would suggest to everyone. And for that also you don't need a lot of months. It's only a couple of months of training and then you're good to go at least to join Nordigan. And when you're here, you can become, we have several developers that became mid-level developers, and hopefully at some point they'll also be senior developers. And for data operators, that's not a very technical role to start with. However, our requirement is when you join, you can take time out of your work to do SQL course. Several have also done Python course. So they start as a basically data operator, data entry operators, which is a very practical, very like doing very manual tasks. However, we've had quite a lot of women coming from different sectors. We've had accountant, dentist, architect as well. So a lot of different women from different backgrounds just come into this role, and because they are so active, inspirational, have time to learn, they do take this time, they too take time out of their work and have a brilliant team lead and also become developers or data scientists down the line.
Maybe Ted and Accenture can share also some of the industries from where maybe more women are coming reskilling on ICT sector, or there is no such special sectors.
No special sectors, really like quite many industries, including HR and then teachers and pharmacy and yeah, related with languages and yeah, so everyone is welcome actually.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have some statistics at the top of my head, but what we experience on a daily basis, it's really sometimes amazing backgrounds, both from men and women who have entered the industries. But I think that it's the same nowadays almost in every industry, where the educational path that you have taken is not really, determination that you are only going to work in this area towards the end of your life. I mean, we are changing industries several and jobs and roles and specialities several times during our lifetime.
And no, this is a panel about women, but I do want to mention Tuoms, one of our junior, well, actually now mid-level developers. He was studying medicine for 6 years, burned out, understood he doesn't want to do it. He did a lot of random jobs for like a couple of months on and off, starting from kitchens, restaurants, some other things. And he was about to step on a boat to work on Tallink. And a day before stepping on a boat, well, COVID happened, and he was told he will not be stepping on a boat no more. He went to Codelex, studied for a couple of months, and now he's one of our best developers in mid-level sector. Earns very good money actually for just a couple of years experience, and yeah, anyone can do that, really.
Yeah, and actually we have a salesman, ex-salesman working also, sailor, yes, sailor, the one that goes through the seas. A sailor working also in IT company, so.
Why not? But based on researches, we see it. We are happy to see that we live longer lives than before, and this will be completely something normal, that people change their career during a life, not only once but twice and more, and that means that also organizations should be ready for it. We are there on that moment, and this is really good, of course, but then it is about the culture and about the readiness.
Yeah, I think that is really also a tough issue, because it is spoken a lot in a lot of discussions about that in your lifetime you will change maybe multiple of those professions, but how those companies will adapt as well, because it usually are asked also some degrees in special science or something.
But I think it's becoming better and better, because there's such a massive need for developers. So many, like Nordigen, we're 100 people and we are developing a junior developer school, 25 developers. I believe similar situations, bootcamp at Accenture, not sure about that, but probably something similar. If Latvia, I know more startups doing that. So there will be more and more of a need to bring people into tech sector, and companies are adapting and will continue to adapt.
I wanted to ask also about this medical education. Does it help him as well?
It's a good question. I think in general, university helps you to think and have logical thinking, and that's potentially that is what helped him to succeed so quickly as well. But day to day, we are ultimately a fintech startup, so not a medtech one.
Yes, because I think in ICT sector it's really interesting to get the specialists from many industries, because those solutions are made for many industries. Yes, still continuing that discussions, maybe I want to start, I mentioned it, male champions, but let's talk about also the role models for women. How do you see, I know that is really important in many topics actually, not only for women as a role model. Do you work specifically also on that to promote also the role models of your company, and also in that way to attract more women in tech? Lian?
I would say that actually in our case, each of our leaders should be a role model. This is expected from them, including female leaders. And of course there are moments in career when we are looking for some special role model with experience and so, but yeah, we expect this from all, because yeah, it doesn't matter about the gender. Lead is lead, and therefore he is or she is lead, and she should be a role model, and again walk the talk, and not only should be able to read like text from the presentation about the culture, but also actually to create this reality for the people in the team. Yeah, so yeah, it is expected from everyone.
Yes, from a that perspective?
Well, I think the approach that matters is that there are women rooting for inclusive culture at the top managerial levels, and thus having the power really to influence and change the game and look for needed qualities for organizational culture so that it can be friendly for everyone, not just women. Yeah, I would say that the tone from the top always matters, because management should have really this broad view and understanding to enable the qualities in organizational culture.
I forgot the original question, but I just had a couple of different thoughts on that. As there's a saying that Latviets Latvietiem labākais ēdiens, so Latvian for another Latvian is the best meal. I feel oftentimes women have very similar view that we don't support each other enough. We get quite catty, which is something that should be completely eliminated. We should help each other build up each other. And another thing is when coming back to stereotypes, something we discussed 40 minutes ago, is that a lot of times when you see a powerful woman or woman in a leadership position, you say that she's ballsy or that she's Iron Woman or something, and that's just something it's tiring to hear nowadays, because if a man was in that position, no one cared or no one said such remarks, whereas with women, other women also say that. And I think we're lacking very good female leaders or examples, especially in ICT. There are like a bunch of plethora are actually very, very strong women, but we don't position them as such. TET actually had Ingrid Roane, which just recently departed. She's one of my mental mentors, not an actual mentor, but I do look up to her. I think she's brilliant in what she does, and I think we should just make more effort to not talk about these positions negatively, but actually positively, that anyone can get there, and it's even better if you're a woman and get there. So.
Yes, that was also my point, that it's really crucial also to show those women leadership roles, because yes, to associate more those skills also with women. And yes, getting back also, you mentioned that I think all of you about the English language skills. How do you see, is that a big problem as well? Because we also saw in Riga Tech Girls also training courses, we started with Discover Tech in Latvian language, because we recognize that it is really crucial also to start with Latvian language, as not so many actually people are really good in English to learn new things. How do you work with that? Because like in a century, yes, you have, I guess, lots of English speaking people.
Everyone should speak in English, and I would say that it's again about this choice. So of course I believe that it's possible to find IT role without English in some company, but this choice will be limited. And English is it's not a problem; it's a need. Because we work with clients from abroad, and then we should be able to talk with them. And we have colleagues. In Accenture, we have 38 nationalities, different nationalities. So the language we use is English in one team.
Do you train them if someone
Yes.
wants
We
also
have,
in English?
of course, English is also part of recruitment, but then we also, every year, we organize in cooperation with external partner English courses, but also in Latvian, and we will soon start Lithuanian in Lithuania, and if it's needed, also German or some other languages. But English is like basic every year.
Artem?
We have offered training to people who join to improve their English, but for us it's the same. You have to talk in English if you join Nordigan. It's because one of our C-level staff is English, well, Australian English, and our new owners, Go Cardless, they're also a British company. But if you think about programming languages, a lot of them are actually English language. So I think it's hard to think if you are not in tech, you have to learn two things, English and IT. But once you do, it's yeah, the world is your oyster.
Adriana?
Well, we don't really have a red flag there, because we are mostly working for local markets. So people can choose, but of course there are certain roles that need the knowledge for just to do their job. But this has never really highlighted as a big scale problem to us.
Okay, then continuing about education and skills, do you work also with universities specifically also to get more women also in IT education?
Yes, we have close cooperation with universities in Latvia and Lithuania.
And how it is working, what you specifically do to attract more women studying?
Well, our Hack My Career program is also to support women, and so there is this cooperation with universities, and so this is what we do. So we train from Accenture side, and then we have experts, so from university side, so we can trust our partners.
I know also Accenture is going to lectures also. Experts are in
Yes.
universities as lecturers as well.
Visiting universities, and then we also invite people to come to the office and then share our knowledge there. Yeah.
Do you think there is a specific also need some changes in education content? Because when I was studying also in Buffalo University, one of the research showed that it's actually very important to build the content so that also not all the examples could be understood in more like feel in also in women way as well.
I'm pretty sure that there can be changes in this, definitely. I cannot say in details since I'm not there in so close connection, but I believe that education in this field, which should be a role model, and review and look for something better and better in general. So.
Thank you. Adriana, you have some?
Yes, I can mention a few examples where that employees are also contributing to the content as guest lecturers, and we are partnering with Riga Business School here. And also recently we had a very nice initiative also together with LMT, bringing to Latvia this was Stanford IT course that
Harvard
IT course that now can be used in the schools, and actually it's all about the approach, how to teach IT in a way that it's inviting and understandable, and you get excited about it rather than having a burden on it.
Okay, thank.
Yeah,
Not like you have to mention something on that. Maybe yes, we are slowly and fast out of the time. Maybe you have some final words also for the future. What maybe are the great things to do to promote also more women to join in tech?
I think I'll just give a practical advice to everyone. Speak with your sisters, moms, daughters, and explain how different IT is, that there's space for everyone. It's creative, it's not just a dark corner. It's very, very interesting, and IT is the future. So if you embrace the future and that you will have a different job in 10 years, like my job didn't exist 10 years ago. So yeah, just inform them, educate them, and inspire them.
I do not have something to suggest, but I have a daughter. She is 14, and when I look on her, or when I met, for example, this summer I was invited to have a I'm Remarkable workshop to girls' summer school, and when I see those girls, I believe that everything is possible, and they already are doing great things, and we have a future, definitely. So nothing to suggest, just let's support the girls, and they will do it by themselves.
Well, if the two remarks were towards the girls, I will make a remark toward the employer, not to screw up the potential, is really to closely follow the internal culture. In a way, it's really inclusive and inviting and open and caring to enable people from various paths of life to find themselves in tech.
Yes, great. The future stage with great future in ahead. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.